Alex slowly opened his eyes, the bright fluorescent lights of the hospital room piercing through his dazed state. The beeping of medical machines filled the air, a rhythmic reminder of his fragile existence. His body felt heavy, each limb weighed down by an unseen force. He tried to lift his hand, but found it tethered by IV drips and sensors, monitoring every aspect of his failing health. The sterile smell of disinfectant was overwhelming, mingling with the faint scent of flowers, perhaps a remnant of a visitor's goodwill. As his vision cleared, he recognized the outlines of various medical equipment surrounding his bed, their silent vigil a testament to the severity of his condition. His throat felt dry and he struggled to find his voice. Every attempt to speak resulted in nothing more than a raspy whisper. Desperation grew within him as he tried to make his presence known, to break the silence that enveloped him. He could hear the faint murmur of voices outside his room, indistinct and distant, like echoes from another world. Alex closed his eyes again, trying to gather his strength, when a familiar voice sliced through the fog of his consciousness. "Dr. Stevens, how is he really doing?" It was Maria, his wife, her tone carrying a mixture of concern and impatience. The words sent a chill through Alex, the gravity of his situation sinking in. He felt a surge of panic, but his body refused to respond. "Should I spend less time here to avoid infections?" Maria's voice was tinged with practicality, a stark contrast to the emotional turmoil Alex felt. The doctor sighed. "It might be best. We don't want to risk any complications." As Dr. Stevens left, Alex tried once more to signal his awareness, but his efforts were futile. The helplessness gnawed at him, each passing second a reminder of his vulnerability. His mind raced with questions and fears, the uncertainty of his fate looming large. It was then that he heard Maria's voice again, this time with an unfamiliar edge. Maria's tone shifted from concern to a more calculating timbre as she answered her phone. Alex strained to listen, every word cutting deeper than the last. "Yes, he's still in the hospital." "No, there's been no change," she said, her voice devoid of the warmth he once knew. The casualness with which she discussed his condition was jarring, a stark contrast to the image of the loving wife he had in his mind. "What about the will? Have you spoken to the lawyer?" Maria's words hit Alex like a sledgehammer. The implication was clear, and it sent a wave of betrayal coursing through him. He could hardly believe what he was hearing. The woman he trusted, the woman he loved, was already planning her life without him. His heart ached with a pain deeper than any physical wound. "I'll take over the business once he's gone," she continued, her voice laced with an eerie calm. "We need to move quickly. The sooner we can get everything in place, the better." Alex's mind reeled. Was his wife truly this heartless, or was he misinterpreting her intentions? But as she spoke sweetly to someone on the other end of the line, it became clear. She was talking to her lover, not just about his business, but about a future that excluded him entirely. "Don't worry, darling. Once this is over, we'll be free," Maria purred, her words filled with promise. Alex felt a sickening twist in his stomach. The woman who should have been at his side, supporting him through this ordeal, was instead plotting his demise. His thoughts raced back to moments they had shared, now tainted by this revelation. Determined not to reveal his awareness, Alex resolved to stay silent and observe. He needed to understand the full extent of her betrayal before making any move. His heart hardened with a resolve to uncover the truth and confront the treachery that had turned his life upside down. As Alex lay in the hospital bed, he couldn't help but reflect on the events leading up to his accident. The morning had started like any other. He woke up early, the first light of dawn casting a soft glow through the bedroom windows. He went through his usual routine, a vigorous workout to keep his body and mind sharp. The memory of the cool morning air filling his lungs as he jogged through the quiet streets felt like a lifetime ago. He had arrived at his company drenched from the relentless rain, a sense of foreboding gnawing at the edges of his consciousness. Despite the weather, he had gone about his day with his usual determination. Helping John, the maintenance worker, fix a leak had seemed trivial then, just another task to be completed. John's gratitude had been genuine, a rare bright spot in a day overshadowed by the gloom of the storm. In the office, he encountered Lisa, his diligent assistant. She had always been a bit superstitious, and that day was no different. Her premonition about a car accident involving someone close to him had seemed absurd at the time. "Be careful, Mr. Alex. I have a bad feeling about today," she had said, her eyes wide with worry. Alex had dismissed her concerns with a smile, reassuring her that everything would be fine. But her words had lingered in his mind, a persistent echo that refused to be silenced. Determined to shake off the unease, Alex had decided to leave work early. He wanted to surprise Maria, to rekindle the romance that had been overshadowed by the demands of their busy lives. He remembered searching the rain-soaked city for the perfect bouquet, the flowers a symbol of his love and commitment. The memory of his anticipation, the thought of Maria's smile when he presented the flowers, was now tainted with bitterness. Returning home to find Maria missing had been the first sign that something was wrong. He had turned on the news, seeking distraction, only to see the report about a car falling off a bridge. Panic had seized him, and he had rushed out, fearing the worst. The journey to the accident site was a blur, the rain pounding against the windshield, his heart racing with dread. Then came the crash, the screech of tires, the shattering of glass, and the agonizing pain that followed. The next thing he knew, he was in the hospital, fighting for his life. And now, as he lay there, the pieces of the puzzle began to fall into place. Maria's absence, her betrayal, and the accident, it all pointed to a sinister plot. Determined to uncover the truth, Alex knew he had to be careful. He couldn't let on that he was aware of Maria's deceit. With the help of Sophie, the compassionate nurse who had agreed to keep his secret, he began to plan his next steps. Each day he grew a little stronger, his resolve hardening with every passing moment. As the days turned into weeks, Alex watched from the shadows as Maria took over his business. Her harsh rules and unjust treatment of employees, including Lisa, only fueled his determination. He saw the toll it took on Lisa, who had always been loyal and hard-working. Her dismissal was the final straw, and Alex knew he had to act. In the meantime, Lisa's path crossed with Jack, the vagabond who had saved Alex from the burning car. Their encounter, facilitated by John's assistance, brought a glimmer of hope into Alex's life. Jack's bravery and Lisa's kindness formed a bond that would be crucial in the days to come. With Sophie's help, Alex managed to leave the hospital, ready to confront Maria and her lover. The confrontation was inevitable, and Alex was prepared to face whatever came next. The truth would be revealed, and justice would be served. The rain battered against the windshield as Alex drove through the city streets, his mind preoccupied with thoughts of Maria. The bouquet of flowers sat on the passenger seat, a vibrant splash of color against the gray backdrop of the storm. He navigated the slick roads carefully, each turn and stoplight taking him closer to home. The city was a blur of headlights and reflections, the downpour obscuring his view. His anticipation was palpable. He envisioned Maria's face lighting up when he walked through the door, flowers in hand. He had left the office early, eager to surprise her with a romantic evening. It had been a while since they had spent quality time together, and Alex wanted to rekindle the spark that seemed to have dimmed over the years. As he drove, memories of their early days together flooded his mind. The laughter, the adventures, the deep connection they shared. Despite the pressures of work and the challenges they faced, Alex held onto the hope that they could recapture that magic. The drive home seemed interminable, the traffic crawling at a snail's pace due to the weather. Alex's phone buzzed with a message from Lisa, reminding him to be cautious on the roads. He appreciated her concern, her earlier premonition about an accident still echoing in his thoughts. He dismissed the unease, focusing instead on the evening ahead. When he finally pulled into the driveway, Alex noticed that the house was dark. The absence of lights and the eerie silence struck him as odd. He grabbed the bouquet and hurried inside, calling out for Maria. There was no response. He checked each room, growing increasingly anxious. It wasn't like Maria to be out without leaving a note or sending a message. The sense of foreboding from earlier in the day returned with full force. Alex's heart pounded as he searched the house. The living room was empty, the kitchen silent, and the bedroom untouched. He glanced at his phone, hoping for a missed call or message that would explain her absence, but there was nothing. As he stood in the hallway, the sound of the television in the living room caught his attention. He walked over and turned up the volume, his stomach sinking as he heard the news report. A car has fallen off the bridge, plunging into the river below. Emergency services are on the scene, but there is no word yet on the condition of the driver. The news anchor's voice was calm, but the words sent a jolt of fear through Alex. Could it be Maria? Had she been in an accident? Panic surged within him, and without a second thought, he rushed out of the house, leaving the flowers forgotten on the table. The drive to the accident site was a blur. Rain lashed against the car, the wipers struggling to keep the windshield clear. Alex's mind raced with worst-case scenarios, each more terrifying than the last. The roads were slick, visibility poor, but he pushed on, driven by fear and adrenaline. As he neared the bridge, the flashing lights of emergency vehicles illuminated the scene, casting an eerie glow on the rain-soaked landscape. Alex parked haphazardly and ran towards the crowd of onlookers gathered at the edge of the bridge. The police were trying to keep people back, but Alex pushed his way through, desperate for answers. He scanned the scene, looking for any sign of Maria, his heart pounding in his chest. The sight of the mangled car in the water below made his breath catch in his throat. "Sir, you need to step back," a police officer said, placing a hand on his shoulder. Alex shook his head, trying to explain, but the words wouldn't come. He was too overwhelmed, too consumed by fear. He watched as rescue workers attempted to reach the car, their movements precise and methodical despite the chaos around them. It was then that Alex's own car was struck by another vehicle. The impact was sudden and violent, throwing him to the ground. Pain exploded in his head and everything went black. When he regained consciousness, he was in the hospital, surrounded by the sterile beeps and hums of medical equipment. The memories of the night before were fragmented and hazy, but the fear and uncertainty remained. In the days that followed, Alex pieced together what had happened. The car that fell from the bridge was not Maria's, but the relief he felt was short-lived. The accident that had landed him in the hospital was no accident at all. As he lay in his hospital bed, listening to Maria's conversations, the truth became painfully clear. She had planned everything, orchestrating events to take over his business and his life. Determined to uncover the full extent of Maria's betrayal, Alex knew he had to play his cards carefully. Feigning unconsciousness, he listened intently to every conversation, gathering information and biding his time. The realization that his accident had been orchestrated by the woman he loved was a bitter pill to swallow, but it also fueled his resolve. He needed to stay strong, both physically and mentally, to confront the treachery that had turned his life upside down. With Sophie, the compassionate nurse who had agreed to keep his secret, Alex began to devise a plan. He communicated with her through subtle gestures and written notes, detailing his suspicions and his need for discretion. Sophie, understanding the gravity of the situation, proved to be an invaluable ally. She ensured that Alex's condition appeared unchanged to the outside world, buying him the time he needed to recover and strategize. Each day, as Alex regained his strength, he meticulously planned his next moves. He needed to gather concrete evidence of Maria's wrongdoing and ensure that he had reliable allies on his side. He thought of John, the maintenance worker who had always been loyal, and Lisa, his diligent assistant who had been unjustly fired. They would be crucial in helping him expose the truth and reclaim his life. Meanwhile, Maria continued to assert her control over Alex's business. Her ruthless decisions and harsh policies alienated many employees, but she remained unfazed, confident in her newfound power. She was unaware that Alex was silently watching, taking note of every misstep and every act of cruelty. The more she tightened her grip, the more determined Alex became to bring her down. Sophie provided regular updates on the outside world, including the well-being of those Alex cared about. She told him about Lisa's struggles after being fired, and how she had encountered a wounded vagabond named Jack. With John's help, Lisa had nursed Jack back to health, and the two had formed a close bond. This news gave Alex hope. It showed that there were still good people willing to stand by him. As Alex's strength returned, he began to practice moving and speaking again. He needed to be fully functional when the time came to confront Maria. Each small victory, a step taken without assistance, a coherent sentence spoken aloud, was a triumph. Sophie cheered him on, her encouragement a beacon of light in the darkness that had enveloped his life. The day finally came when Alex felt ready to leave the hospital. With Sophie's assistance, he managed to slip out undetected. His first stop was to find John and Lisa. They were shocked but relieved to see him, their disbelief quickly turning to resolve as he explained the situation. Together, they formed a plan to confront Maria and her lover, to expose their deceit and reclaim what was rightfully Alex's. The confrontation took place at Alex's company headquarters, where Maria had been conducting business as usual, oblivious to the storm brewing around her. Alex, flanked by John and Lisa, entered the building with a sense of purpose. His presence caused a stir among the employees, many of whom were shocked to see him up and about. Whispers of his miraculous recovery spread like wildfire, adding to the tension in the air. Maria was in the middle of a meeting when Alex entered the room. She looked up, her expression shifting from surprise to something darker. "Alex, how—" she began, but Alex cut her off, his voice steady and filled with determination. "Enough, Maria. I know everything," he said, his gaze piercing. "Your plans, your betrayal, the staged accident. It's over." Maria's eyes widened, and for a moment she was at a loss for words. Then she composed herself, a defiant glint in her eyes. "You have no proof," she said, her voice icy. "This is all just speculation." Alex smirked, gesturing to Lisa, who stepped forward with a folder. "Actually, we do. Lisa has kept meticulous records of your activities, every unethical decision, every shady deal. And Jack, the man you thought was a nobody, witnessed the entire scheme." Maria's composure faltered as she realized the gravity of her situation. "You're bluffing," she said, but the fear in her voice betrayed her. She glanced around the room, looking for an ally, but found only the cold, unyielding faces of those she had wronged. It was then that her lover, who had been silently standing in the corner, made a move. He stepped forward, trying to intervene, but Alex was ready. "Don't even think about it," he said, his tone dangerous. "The police are on their way. This ends now." In a desperate attempt to escape, Maria lunged towards Alex, but Sophie, who had followed Alex to ensure his safety, stepped in. She blocked Maria's path, her presence a reminder that Alex was not alone in this fight. The police arrived moments later, arresting Maria and her lover. The room was filled with a mixture of relief and tension, the aftermath of the confrontation leaving everyone on edge. As Maria was led away in handcuffs, Alex felt a sense of closure. The betrayal that had shattered his life was finally being addressed. He turned to his loyal friends, expressing his gratitude. "Thank you," he said, his voice filled with emotion. "I couldn't have done this without you." John and Lisa nodded, their support unwavering. "We're just glad you're back," John said, clapping Alex on the shoulder. "Things are going to be different now." "Better." Alex looked around the room, the faces of his employees reflecting a mixture of hope and uncertainty. He knew there was still much work to be done to rebuild his life and his company, but for the first time in a long while, he felt ready to face the challenges ahead. He offered Jack a managerial position at the company, recognizing his bravery and integrity. Jack accepted, grateful for the opportunity to turn his life around. Lisa was reinstated and promoted, her loyalty and diligence finally being rewarded. As Alex looked towards the future, he knew that he was not alone. With Sophie by his side and surrounded by friends who had proven their loyalty, he felt a renewed sense of purpose. Together, they would rebuild, creating a new legacy founded on trust, respect, and unwavering support. The road ahead was long, but Alex was ready. He had faced the darkness and emerged stronger. With his friends and loved ones by his side, he looked forward to a future filled with hope and promise. The atmosphere in the office was electric as Alex confronted Maria and her lover, their faces paling as the realization of their downfall sank in. Alex's eyes were cold, his demeanor unwavering as he laid out the evidence of their treachery. Maria's initial shock gave way to desperation, her voice trembling as she tried to defend herself. "Alex, you have to understand," she pleaded, her tone shifting from defiance to a pathetic attempt at persuasion. "I did what I had to do for us. For our future." Alex's jaw tightened, the anger simmering beneath his calm exterior. "For our future," he echoed, his voice cutting through the tension like a knife. "You plotted to take everything from me, Maria. You betrayed our marriage, our trust. There is no us anymore." Her lover, standing beside her, shifted uncomfortably, his eyes darting around the room as if seeking an escape. "You have no idea what you're talking about," he said, his voice lacking conviction. "This is all a misunderstanding." Alex's expression hardened. "A misunderstanding? You conspired to take over my company, to leave me for dead. Do you think I'll let that go unpunished?" As the police arrived to arrest them, Maria's facade crumbled. She lunged towards Alex, a final desperate attempt to reclaim control, but Sophie, who had been quietly observing, intervened. With a firm grip, she restrained Maria, preventing any further violence. The sight of Maria being led away in handcuffs was a stark reminder of how far she had fallen, her ambitions and greed leading to her ultimate demise. Alex watched them go, a mixture of relief and sadness washing over him. He turned to Sophie, who had been his rock throughout this ordeal, and gave her a grateful smile. "Thank you," he said simply, his voice filled with emotion. Sophie nodded, her eyes reflecting a deep understanding. "You don't have to thank me, Alex. We're in this together." With Maria and her lover out of the picture, Alex faced the daunting task of rebuilding his life and his company. The betrayal had left deep scars, but it had also revealed the true colors of those around him. He knew he was not alone in this journey. John, Lisa, and Jack stood by his side, their loyalty and support unwavering. Alex called a meeting with his employees, addressing them with a newfound sense of purpose. "I know the past few months have been difficult," he began, his voice steady, "but we have a chance to rebuild, to create something stronger and better than before. I can't do it alone, and I don't want to. Together, we can make this company a place we can all be proud of." The room erupted in applause, the tension that had plagued the office dissipating as hope and determination took its place. Alex's gratitude towards his friends was immeasurable. He formally offered Jack a managerial position, recognizing his bravery and the crucial role he had played in uncovering the truth. Jack, humbled by the offer, accepted with a nod. "Thank you, Alex. I'll do my best to honor your trust." Lisa, who had been instrumental in gathering evidence against Maria, was reinstated and promoted. Her diligence and loyalty had not gone unnoticed, and Alex made sure she knew how much he valued her contributions. "Lisa, you've been a rock through all of this. I can't thank you enough." Tears welled up in Lisa's eyes as she nodded, overwhelmed by the recognition. "I just did what was right, Alex. I'm glad to be back." John, whose unwavering support had been a constant source of strength for Alex, received his own acknowledgement. "John, you've been more than just an employee. You're a friend, and I can't thank you enough for standing by me." John smiled, his eyes crinkling at the corners. "We're family, Alex. We'll get through this together." With his trusted friends and loyal employees by his side, Alex felt ready to face the challenges ahead. The road to recovery would be long, but he was determined to rebuild his company and restore the trust and camaraderie that had been shattered by betrayal. In the weeks that followed, Alex and his team worked tirelessly to restore the company. The damage done by Maria's ruthless management was extensive, but with each passing day, they made progress. Alex implemented changes that reflected his vision of a company built on integrity, respect, and collaboration. He held regular meetings to foster open communication and ensure that everyone felt valued and heard. The transformation was palpable. Employees who had once felt demoralized and uncertain now thrived in an environment of mutual respect and support. Alex took the time to personally acknowledge their contributions, understanding that rebuilding trust was a collective effort. The company culture began to shift, becoming a place where people felt proud to work. Alex also took the opportunity to reflect on his own journey. The betrayal had been a harsh wake-up call, forcing him to re-evaluate his priorities and the people he trusted. He realized that he had taken many things for granted, including the loyalty and dedication of those around him. The experience had changed him, making him more appreciative of the relationships that truly mattered. He found solace in his growing bond with Sophie. Their shared experiences had created a deep connection, one built on trust and understanding. Alex often confided in her, their conversations a source of comfort and strength. They spent time together outside of work, exploring new hobbies and enjoying each other's company. The trauma of the past months had given way to a blossoming relationship that filled Alex with a sense of hope and renewal. As the company stabilized, Alex took steps to ensure that the lessons learned were not forgotten. He established a mentorship program to nurture new talent and foster a sense of community within the organization. He also created initiatives to give back to the community, understanding the importance of social responsibility. The changes were well received and the company's reputation began to recover. Clients and partners, impressed by the transformation, renewed their commitments. The hard work and dedication of Alex and his team were paying off, and the future looked promising. As the dust settled, Alex gathered his friends and key employees for a celebration. They had come a long way, and it was time to acknowledge their achievements and look forward to the future. The atmosphere was festive, filled with laughter and camaraderie. Alex raised a glass, his eyes shining with gratitude. "To new beginnings," he said, his voice carrying the weight of their shared journey. "We've faced challenges that could have broken us, but we emerged stronger. This is just the beginning. Together, we'll build something extraordinary." The room echoed with cheers and clinking glasses, a testament to their collective spirit. Alex looked around, his heart swelling with pride and appreciation. He saw the faces of those who had stood by him: John, Lisa, Jack, and Sophie, each one a reminder of the resilience and strength of the human spirit. As the evening progressed, Alex took a moment to reflect on the journey that had brought them here. The betrayal and pain had been overwhelming, but they had also led to growth and renewal. He realized that sometimes the darkest moments could illuminate the path to something greater. Sophie joined him, a soft smile on her lips. "Penny, for your thoughts?" she asked, slipping her hand into his. Alex smiled, squeezing her hand gently. "Just thinking about how far we've come, and how grateful I am for everyone here." Sophie nodded, her eyes reflecting the same sentiment. "We've all grown a lot, and I'm grateful to be part of this journey with you." They stood together, watching their friends celebrate, their hearts filled with a sense of accomplishment and hope. The future was uncertain, but Alex knew that with the support of his friends and loved ones, he could face anything. In the days that followed, Alex continued to lead his company with integrity and vision. He nurtured the relationships that had been strengthened through adversity and built new ones based on trust and mutual respect. The company flourished, becoming a symbol of resilience and renewal. Alex also made time for his personal life, cherishing the moments spent with Sophie and his friends. They traveled, explored new interests, and created memories that would last a lifetime. The challenges they had faced had brought them closer, forging bonds that would endure. As the years passed, Alex looked back on his journey with a sense of pride and fulfillment. He had turned a time of darkness into an opportunity for growth and renewal, creating a life and legacy that honored the values he held dear. The future remained bright, filled with possibilities and the promise of new adventures. Alex's journey from betrayal to redemption is a powerful reminder of the resilience of the human spirit. Through the unwavering support of his true friends and the strength of his own resolve, he not only exposed the deceit that threatened to destroy him, but also rebuilt his life on a foundation of integrity and trust. In the end, Alex found that even in the darkest moments, there is a path to renewal and hope. His story is a testament to the power of loyalty, love, and the courage to stand up for what is right. As he and his allies forge ahead, they do so with a renewed sense of purpose and an unbreakable bond. They stood together, watching their friends celebrate, their hearts filled with a sense of accomplishment and hope. The future was uncertain, but Alex knew that with the support of his friends and loved ones, he could face anything. In the days that followed, Alex continued to lead his company with integrity and vision. He nurtured the relationships that had been strengthened through adversity and built new ones based on trust and mutual respect. The company flourished, becoming a symbol of resilience and renewal. Alex also made time for his personal life, cherishing the moments spent with Sophie and his friends. They traveled, explored new interests, and created memories that would last a lifetime. The challenges they had faced had brought them closer, forging bonds that would endure. As the years passed, Alex looked back on his journey with a sense of pride and fulfillment. He had turned a time of darkness into an opportunity for growth and renewal, creating a life and legacy that honored the values he held dear. The future remained bright, filled with possibilities and the promise of new adventures. Alex's journey from betrayal to redemption is a powerful reminder of the resilience of the human spirit. Through the unwavering support of his true friends and the strength of his own resolve, he not only exposed the deceit that threatened to destroy him, but also rebuilt his life on a foundation of integrity and trust. In the end, Alex found that even in the darkest moments, there is a path to renewal and hope. His story is a testament to the power of loyalty, love, and the courage to stand up for what is right. As he and his allies forge ahead, they do so with a renewed sense of purpose and an unbreakable bond. If you enjoyed this story, please leave a like, subscribe to our channel, and share it with your friends. Let us know in the comments what you thought of Alex's incredible journey.